There's some things that will not happen to you or happen in your life until certain things are put in place. My name is. A good example of this is when you look at creation and you look at the way that God designed the earth or nature or everything. The Bible says in the beginning the earth was without form and void, and there was darkness all over it, right? And so God has a plan to fix the earth and make it beautiful and whole again. But he doesn't just go ham and just go, okay, I'm going to put plants right here. I'm going to put animals over here. You know what? My first order of business, I'm going to put a human being in there. That's not what he does. What he does first is what? Let there be light. The first thing that God does is he creates light. What's the point of putting plants and animals and humans in a dark world? They're not going to thrive. They're not going to be happy. They're not going to have their best life in this darkness. So let me remove the darkness first. And then he doesn't go and plant and create the animals. He creates plants first. Because he knows if I create animals before I create plants, the animals are not going to have anything to eat. Because in the Garden of Eden, or in God's original plan, animals were not carnivores. They were all like herbivores, you know. And so God is like, if I create plants first and then I create animals, the animals are going to have something to eat. And if you notice, before that, God separated the firmament. He separated the water and put some of the water in the ocean, and he put the water in certain places and prepped the soil so that when he create his plants are going to thrive in that soil. Because plants don't grow in muddy water. Plants don't grow in just like water everywhere. You know, there's some plants that are like underwater, like plants that only grow like underwater, like weeds and whatever. But the majority of plants, they need like a nice, like moist or like fertile ground that's not too wet to thrive. And so God is like, I'm not going to leave the water here. So what he does is he brings light. The plants are going to need that light for photosynthesis and whatever they're going to need. So like God is doing everything in order. He's not just doing things randomly. There's an order to everything he's doing. First, he separates. He brings light in the darkness, and everything is light. And then he creates plants. But then before he creates plants, he makes sure that the earth is like fertile for these plants to grow. After he creates plants, then he creates animals. After he creates animals, then he creates humans. Adam and Eve. And Adam and Eve are supposed to take care of this garden. By the time Adam is created, Adam and Eve are created, the fruits, plants everywhere, food for them to eat. But had God created Adam and Eve first, and then he's like, you know what, I was supposed to create the fruits and the plants on Thursday, and today's Tuesday, you might have to go like a day or two without food. You okay with that, right? Okay, good, because I have other plans. No, Adam and Eve will be like, first day on earth and they're starving. So God does everything in order. You know, before he creates the plants, he makes sure that the earth is like suitable for this plant to thrive. Before he creates the animals, he makes sure that the earth is suitable for these animals to thrive. They have food, they have whatever they need to survive. Before he creates humanity, he makes sure that everything is suitable for these humans to thrive and survive. And the same is with you and me. God is not going to give you certain things until certain conditions are met in your life. Because God doesn't want that when he gives you something, it backfires and everything goes wrong and you start to blame him. And plus, he's a good father, so he wants to give you something that he knows you're really going to enjoy. So if God is making you wait right now for whatever reason, or whatever you're praying for and you don't have it yet, I want you to know that God has not forgotten you. There are just certain conditions that need to be met. Let's say you want to get married, and let's say you have money, and you've been praying for God to give you a wife, and God is like, I heard you the first time you asked me, but you see, the way that your wife is set up right now, she's not very good with money. If I bring her into your life, she would damage your finances. So she is a good thing, and in the right season she will be the perfect wife for you. She will be the best thing that's ever happened to you. But if I give her to you right now, she will do more damage to you than good. And I don't want you to turn and look at me and blame me. So give me time, let me work on her. A lot of you, God has really good things for you, and you're expecting God to bring certain things into your life, and God is like, I'm looking at a few messes right now, and that thing that you're praying for cannot thrive in this environment that you've created in your life. You want love, you want a good relationship, you want this or you're that, and God is like, I need you to work on yourself a little bit more. I need you to work on your self-esteem. I need you to work on the way you see yourself. Because even if your self-esteem is low, and God gives you a really good thing, because you're so insecure, you may not even appreciate it the way it's supposed to be. There's some conditions and certain criteria in your life that need to be met before God goes to the next step and the next step before bringing that thing into your life. It could be your dream job, and God is looking at you like, you have pride. You have pride. If I give you that job, your pride, your ego can get in the way and you will ruin that thing. So let me get rid of pride first, because that job is not going to be in your life for long with pride there. Can you imagine if God created Adam and Eve on Tuesday, and then he created the plants and the fruits and everything on Friday? Man, I know you can die from not eating for 4 days, but they would be miserable by that time. Like, certain conditions have to be met before you can receive the things that God has for you, because if God gives you those things as is, they're not going to work, and they're not going to work the way that they're supposed to. Imagine the earth is full with water everywhere, and God is like, let there be plants, all kinds of plants and flowers and fruit trees everywhere. And the plants are obedient, so they pop up, but then they die. And God is like, why are you guys dying? I told you to, they're popping out everywhere, and then within like 2 days they're dead, because the soil is not primed for them to thrive. God can give you that thing right now, but the conditions of your life, if all the right conditions are not met, you will destroy that thing. God is a God of order. Sometimes you will pray for God to give you maybe financial stability, and God starts to put you through a test that you don't understand. You're like, God, I asked you to give me money or to give me a child. Why are you putting me through this test? So random, it doesn't make no sense. But God is like, it's necessary. In order for you to keep that thing that you've been praying for forever, it's necessary that I put you through this test. God is a God of order. He doesn't just do things randomly. Everything that he does is for a reason and for a purpose. So trust God and believe that if you don't have what you pray for just yet, it's not that God doesn't answer prayers. That God is still preparing things for you. Imagine an event. Let's say maybe it's your birthday, or it's your wedding day, and they're decorating the hall and they're fixing it and they're putting everything perfect. And let's say maybe you wanted the hall to be ready at 4 p.m. and it's 4 p.m. but the hall is not ready yet. And so imagine you getting like impatient, like, I'm tired of waiting, I wanted this hall ready at 4 p.m. Open the doors and let people in now. And that hall is not done, like halfway done, like tablecloths on the ground, chairs here, flowers there. The hall is not well decorated. It's a mess. It's not finished yet. When people come in and they look at it, they go, oh, what is this? You yourself, you're upset, like, what is this? This is not what I paid for, blah blah blah. But had you waited just a little bit more, the decorator or the wedding planner, they're like, give me 20 more minutes. I know you're impatient, but it's like the vision that you want in your head, it's not easy. It's not something that like can be done just like that. Like, it takes time. So give me a little bit more time. Don't tell people about this. Don't force us to open these doors now and let people in here. It's a mess right now. It's not ready. Let us do what we need to do first. And if you're patient and you let them, and when you come back in that 20 minutes and the go it's ready, you can come in and you can let your guest in. And then you open that door and it's like, wow. Everyone is wowed, you are wowed, and you're happy that you waited, because if you had gone in when you wanted to go in, everyone would have been a mess. People would have been talking about you like, oh my god, did you go to her event? Everything looked crazy, like the food was not ready, the hall was a mess. But you waited just a little bit more, and maybe you even made people wait. But then by the time it happens, everybody's amazed. Like, okay, we waited, but it was so worth it. So maybe you're in that situation where like people are waiting on you. People are waiting for something to happen to you. Maybe like, you know, you're single and people are like, when are you gonna get married? Like, we want to come to your wedding and celebrate and dance, blah blah blah. They're putting pressure on you, you know, and you're putting pressure on yourself. And God is like, give me time, because what I have for you, but it cannot be rushed. So God is a God of order. If he hasn't opened that door yet, or he has not done that thing that you were expecting, it's because he's still putting things in motion. It doesn't cost God anything to give you what you want right now. I mean, God created the whole universe in 6 days. 6 days! And you think he can give you what you want? Imagine this is gonna be my last example. Imagine a pregnant woman. A woman who wants to have a baby, you know, she wakes up and she finds out that, oh, I'm pregnant. And then tomorrow she goes from like 1 month where like she's not showing, and then tomorrow she wakes up and she's like 9 months and her stomach is huge. She'll probably die. Like I said, that baby just overnight became like this 9 month 10-pound baby. Overnight that woman would die, because her body, even though that's what she was meant to do, her body did not prepare itself for the growth of that baby. That's why pregnancy takes time. It stretches just a little bit, it squishes your organs little by little by little, preparing you, making room for everything. And then when it's time for you to give birth, you will start to realize that there's some things that are happening in your body, like the water breaks, everything comes, like your body like naturally prepares itself for that process. It doesn't just randomly happen, because if it just randomly happened, you would die. If that baby just goes from like 2 weeks to 9 months within 24 hours, you will die and your baby will die, because the host is in distress. And so it's a process. Your body goes through a process, and it prepares you little by little for the time that you will give birth to your baby. So some things, it's a process. It doesn't happen randomly. So be patient with God. Maybe he's taking his time because he has the best for you. Don't ruin it by being impatient. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel. Also give me a thumbs up. Share this video with your friends, and I will see you in my next video.